Happy Easter. We love celebrating Easter. Easter is a time of new birth everywhere around us because it is spring. We see new flowers, we see new birds, we see sprouts everywhere, and we had cherry blossoms around us. Easter is specifically chosen as spring season in Europe by the early church. Easter falls after the spring equinox, which is March 21st, and after the spring full moon, which is the Jewish Passover. So Korea, having the 4 seasons, we have the privilege of enjoying the power of Easter all around us every day these days. But one thing to remember is that Easter is not a memorial day of Jesus' resurrection. It is not another routine holiday event of the year when we celebrate Jesus coming back to life. Easter really meant new life for all Christians throughout the ages. And this new life was the foundation of what it means to be a Christian. So today, each of us here have the opportunity and the responsibility to ask, what does Easter mean for me? As we make resurrection a reality in our own lives as well. Lectionary today comes from the book of Matthew, chapter 28. And as you have heard from the reading just now, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary went to see the tomb. And the angel of the Lord descending from heaven came like lightning. The guards were so shaken with fear that they became like dead men. But the angel said to the woman, "Do not be afraid." Then the angel told the woman, "Go quickly and tell his disciples he has been raised from the dead." So they left the tomb quickly with fear and with great joy and ran to tell his disciples. But on the way, suddenly Jesus met them and said, "Greetings." Then Jesus said, "Do not be afraid. Go and tell my brothers to go to Galilee." So when you look at the text today, the resurrection of Jesus was a joyful event, but it landed on people as fear because it was unfamiliar and unknown. Jesus told them this was going to happen, but the reality of resurrection was not even in their imagination. It was beyond their understanding. After the crucifixion of Jesus, his close people, his disciples, were so afraid they went into hiding. Interestingly, it was the woman who ventured out to the tomb. I'm sure that they were in fear too, but their love for Jesus was more powerful than the fear within them. That's what courage really means, to act in spite of fear. Fear has great power over us. But the woman showed that love was more powerful than fear. This is the story of resurrection. Whatever that is unknown and unfamiliar to us, we tend to react in fear and disbelief. Even today, many people cannot and do not understand resurrection, but it is not something to be understood. For us Christians, it is a matter of faith. This Easter again, I'm reminded of an Easter gift I received many years ago when I was in USA. I shared this with you several years ago, but I would like to share it again from a different angle. A friend of mine gave me a small container, this small, that had dark dirt in it. I could not see what's inside it clearly. She told me there's a small caterpillar, and the dark stuff in it is ground leaves. She says it will become a butterfly in a few weeks, and I get to watch it grow. Well, this was not a very impressive gift for me because I did not like worms, and I did not want to watch it. So I brought it home and just left it in my bookshelf, and then I forgot about it. About a week later, I noticed this small bottle, and I remembered the gift. So I looked inside, and I did not see the caterpillar. It was all dried up. The caterpillar was dead. So I threw it away. Later that day, I told my friend who gave me the gift, and I said, I'm so sorry. I did not take good care of the gift you gave me, and so it is dead. So I threw it away. And then she said, oh no, it is not dead. It has become a cocoon. It is on its way to become a butterfly. Just follow the instructions. Well, fortunately, the trash can was still in the kitchen. So I went home and took the bottle out and left this thing on the bookshelf again. This time, I looked into this every day, but there was nothing going on. I was again sure that it was dead, but I waited. The instruction says that after about 2 weeks, I should put this butterfly into a big bottle and put some sugar water. So when the cocoon comes out, the butterfly comes out, it has something to eat, the sugar water. So about 2 weeks later, which was a long, long wait for me, I moved it into a big kimchi bottle. And I put a lot of sugar water in it and left it there. But still, nothing was happening for 3 days. Then one day I came home and I was so shocked. The sugar water was red, and there was a dead-looking butterfly inside the bottle. And I thought to myself, wow, a butterfly can also bleed itself to death? Looking into it carefully, what I found out was that the wings of the butterfly was red. And I put in too much sugar water in the bottom of the bottle. And so when the butterfly came out of the cocoon, the wings got drowned in the sugar water and was stuck there. That's why the sugar water turned red. I carefully lifted the butterfly and found that it was moving. It was not dead. So I took it outside and put it on my hand. The butterfly, after flapping its wings a few times, it flew away. Wow, what a miracle that was. It really was an Easter moment for me because the dead has come back to life. And I have never forgotten the lessons I learned from that gift of Easter. The first lesson that I learned was that what looks dead in my sight is not always death. It was dead a few times because I almost killed it a few times, but it was not dead. Life goes through transformation. And at times, and in some moments, it looks like it is dead because it is not moving. But inside the cocoon, there is an incredible process of making the parts of the butterfly, including the beautiful colors of the wings, that is not visible to our normal eyesight. Never, never ignore those moments that looks dead moments. For in death, there is always a new life. All along Jesus' ministry, he was aware of his upcoming death. for that was God's will in his life. So he prepared his disciples for what was going to happen to him. He fully understood that the path to new life was the path through suffering and death. But his disciples did not get his message. Yet Jesus never gave up on his disciples who denied him, who betrayed him, who ran away from him. And it was because of those moments that they were able to transform from fear to courage. In our own lives, we also have moments of death. We dread being in the state of illness, in the state of failure or despair or loneliness. We feel so down that sometimes we feel useless and we do not know what to do next. We feel stuck. Those moments may be our cocoon moments. It looks like we are going nowhere, yet it is an important stage for the next step to build up our wings to fly. What faith allows us is to live the hope of Easter in those moments. Hope is the power for life. And this hope is not just a wishful thinking. There are two kinds of hope. One is we sometimes say, oh, I hope it doesn't rain tomorrow for the picnic. This kind of hope does not take us anywhere, and it does not make any difference to the weather tomorrow. But there is this hope. I hope that all human beings will live in peace and harmony as one family of God. When we say that, when we hope that, it moves our lives to have a goal, living into that hope, and we become the hope that we create. It is our faith in God. This hope of Easter transforms our personal life, and it also transforms our society. When we hear so many stories of terrorist attacks across the world, especially on innocent lives, we feel like the end of the world is near. It feels like death is all around us. But what resurrection people see as we live out hope is new life springing from terror. We refuse to be defeated by fear. Many people bond together in, like this picture, in moments of terror to transform the forces of violence and terror. This is the real time for the peace movement to have its power. You all know about September 11, 2001. I was living in New York City, in Manhattan, when terrorists struck the World Trade Center. All of Manhattan, which is an island, was blocked that day. And of course, there was a lot of fear and disbelief in the air. The following week, I had a chance to meet with church people 2 hours away from New York City. And I asked them, did you see any change in your area after 9/11? And they all said, the community was much more kinder to each other. We felt closer to each other, and the neighbors all became very friendly. That is hope being created. The second lesson I learned from my experience of growing a butterfly was to be fully present in every moment of life. The egg stage, the larva stage, the cocoon stage, the butterfly stage. Each stage has its role in building up character of who we are to become. God does not waste our life for nothing. We are the ones often giving up on ourselves. And when we give up on ourselves, ultimately we are giving up on God, giving up on what God is doing in our own lives. For Jesus, he went through his persecution faithfully. The betrayal of Judas, the mocking of the undependable crowd who waved palms to welcome him one Sunday and then shouted, "Crucify him," the next day. The incredible pain and shame of being nailed to the cross. Each of these moments of suffering is what brings us closer to Jesus, for he was there fully with all of his life. If we were fully present for 40 days of Lent, the time of suffering, the agony, the loneliness, the betrayal, and the desperate longing for connection with God, as Jesus did, we will fully know the power of resurrection. We will experience the death of our own pride and ego. And we will be able to pray to God, "God, let your will be done in my life and not my will." What I learned from Easter gift was what an impatient person I am. I make quick judgments on what life is and what life is not. I was oblivious to the life-building process of life. Who am I to judge the unique timeline for each life? This is where I need forgiveness from all those that I have hurt. Now, I shared this story with my church when I was in USA. And when I left that church, the church people made this stole for me, butterfly. They want me to remember not to be that impatient when things don't go my way. And so I keep this stole, remembering of what God does, not what I do in people's lives. Each moment of life, wherever we may be right now, it is a precious moment in life. Because of today, we will have tomorrow. And this brings me to the third lesson I learned from the Easter gift, that it is God who grants us that new life. Even though the cocoon was fed with crushed leaves and sugar water that I gave, ultimately, I was not the one that made cocoon into butterfly. The giver of life was not me. God is the one who gives life. Jesus was raised from the dead. Jesus was raised to life by the power of life, the giver of life that we worship as our God. At the end of that process to life, we give up life in order to gain life. The butterfly flew away from me, and I learned later that as soon as the butterfly flies away from coming out of the cocoon, it flies to find a mate and starts to give birth. They have short lifespan, and they do what they are born to do. I do not own the butterfly. It was a life. It has a life of its own. If I kept it with me, if I hung on to it, it would not give birth to new life. Jesus gave up his life to give new life to us. We live in the hope of new life by giving our lives also to God's will, for it to be God's will to be done on earth as it is in heaven. Remember, the disciples were a bunch of fearful crowds when they saw their Jesus being persecuted and nailed to the cross. But after Easter, the transformed disciples went all over to preach the good news of Jesus so that others may have new life. In turn, they received new life every day. Life of boldness, life of hope, life of power, and life of freedom to spread the good news to others. The world around us is in desperate need for new life. There are so many rumors around these days that there is going to be a war in Korea. The world around us, North Korea, South Korea, China, USA, Japan, what the leaders are doing, they have all kinds of weapons coming to save us. I'm sure our leaders will not be preaching about Jesus as the Prince of Peace. That is our job, the resurrected people of the church. So join the group that the disciples of Jesus created. We have more powerful weapon than what the world shows us, the weapon of love and peace from God. And in that process, we will receive the gift of new life every day. Today, later on in our pastoral prayer, we'll be reading the prayer for Easter that North Korea Christians and South Korea Christians have put together. May our new life together contribute to peace, making our world God's world. Amen.